Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into star performers. Um, like in the 21st century,
Okay.
the whole world of work has changed so much, right? Like from
Mhm.
farms and factories to this whole knowledge-driven, service-based landscape.
Right.
So how do we even define a star in this new reality? And what does that mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, that's a great question. And what's so fascinating here is we have a key source, a 2014 article from the Personnel Psychology Journal,
Okay.
and it argues that it's not about personality.
Oh, interesting.
It's about output.
Mm-hmm.
Star performers are the folks who are consistently delivering a really high level of results, compared to their peers,
Yep.
not just a one-hit wonder.
Okay, so not just a flash in the pan.
Exactly.
But wait, doesn't that kind of challenge the whole bell curve idea we often hear about with performance?
Yeah.
Like most people are clustered around average and then there's a few outliers.
Exactly. The authors Aguineas and Aboyle, they suggest a power law distribution might actually fit better in the modern workplace. So imagine that bell curve,
Yeah.
but with a long tail stretching out where those stars live.
Okay.
And get this, even if a star leaves, that tail shape often stays the same.
Whoa.
They call this scale invariance.
Andy, and that sounds like something out of like a physics textbook.
Right.
Can you give me an example of that in action?
Sure, yeah.
Like how does that actually play out?
Think about Michael Jordan's retirements from the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, yeah.
The team's wins obviously took a hit.
Of course.
But the distribution of points per game among the players stayed surprisingly similar.
Really?
Yeah, it's a pattern that we see in nature, in finance,
Mhm.
and now maybe in how we work.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. So if we're not all clustered around average
Yeah.
and these stars have such a huge impact,
Right.
then where does that leave the rest of us?
Right.
Should I be worried if I'm not like aiming for that star status?
That's a good question, and here's where it gets really interesting for your own career. It turns out the link between a star's output and the value they create is likely exponential, not linear.
Exponential, not linear.
Okay, meaning a small improvement for them equals a massive jump in value for their organization.
So like a small tweak for them means big wins for everyone.
Exactly, and studies show that the top 10% of performers can contribute over 30% of total production value.
Wow. That's huge. Okay, so let's say you're like a superstar janitor.
Right.
Amazing at what you do,
Yeah.
but maybe not directly impacting the bottom line of, say, a tech company or something.
Yeah,
Does that matter?
absolutely. The authors emphasize that a star's impact is amplified when their position aligns with the organization's core goals.
Oh, I see.
So that superstar janitor in a hospital.
Okay.
Now that's a different story.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's worth thinking about where your skills best align with an organization's strategy.
So I need to figure out where my talents fit best in the big picture.
Yeah.
It's not just about being good at something, it's about being good at the right thing. Whoa, this is making me rethink my whole career path.
And it goes beyond just individual ambition.
Okay.
The rise of the star performer is changing how companies think about talent turnover, even compensation.
Oh, wow.
For example, they might need to embrace much bigger pay differences between stars and average performers.
Hold on. Bigger pay gaps.
Yeah.
Doesn't that risk creating tension and resentment within a team?
Yeah.
And what happens to those who aren't necessarily aiming for stardom,
Right.
but are solid contributors?
Absolutely. And that's a great point, and we'll dig into those concerns in just a bit.
Okay, cool, because I have lots more questions about that.
Yeah.
But for now, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
Yeah, it's a valid concern, and the authors acknowledge those potential pitfalls.
Okay.
And they suggest that organizations need to be really thoughtful about how they manage these dynamics.
Yeah.
It's not just about rewarding stars, it's about creating a culture that values the contributions of everyone.
Celebrating those everyday heroes who keep things running smoothly, even if they're not setting those record-breaking sales numbers
Right.
or like launching the next viral app.
Exactly. Think about the people who provide essential support. The
Yeah.
administrative assistants, the IT teams,
Uh-huh.
even the janitors in certain settings.
Right.
Their work might not be glamorous, but it's crucial for creating an environment where stars can truly thrive.
Oh, I like that.
It's like a symphony orchestra.
Oh, yeah.
You need both the virtuosos and the musicians who are playing those essential supporting roles to create a truly harmonious performance.
I love that analogy. And it reminds me of something else the authors mentioned, these Idiosyncratic work arrangements. Could you
Yes.
break that down for me?
Sure.
It sounds a bit intimidating.
Don't worry, it's not as complex as it sounds.
Okay.
Basically, it means tailoring work arrangements to meet the unique needs and preferences of individual employees,
Mhm.
especially star performers. So think about negotiating a flexible schedule that allows you to work remotely a few days a week, or having a dedicated budget for professional development courses that
Right.
align with your career goals.
So it's about giving people the flexibility and support they need to do their best work,
Exactly.
regardless of their role or star status.
Right.
That sounds like a win-win for both the individual and the organization.
Exactly. And it ties into the concept of management for the few.
Okay. Management for the few.
The authors argue that leaders need to shift their focus from managing the masses to empowering those key individuals
Yeah.
who can generate the greatest returns.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that a small improvement in the performance of a star can create a ripple effect of value throughout the entire company.
That's a powerful idea. It's not about micromanaging everyone. It's about strategically investing in those who have the potential to make the biggest impact.
Right.
But doesn't this raise some ethical questions?
Sure.
What about fairness and equity for everyone else?
That's a critical point, and the authors don't shy away from those concerns at all.
Okay.
They emphasize that a focus on stars shouldn't come at the expense of neglecting the development and support of other employees.
Yeah.
It's about finding a balance.
How do we walk that tightrope?
Right.
How do we create a system that recognizes and rewards exceptional talent
Yeah.
without creating a culture of resentment or exclusivity?
Well, the authors suggest that organizations need to be transparent about their compensation philosophies
Okay.
and ensure that everyone has opportunities for growth and advancement, even if they're not on a star track.
It's about creating a culture of meritocracy
Mm-hmm.
where hard work and contributions are recognized and rewarded,
Exactly.
regardless of your position on that power law distribution.
Precisely. And it's about fostering a culture of learning and development,
Yeah.
where everyone feels supported and empowered to reach their full potential, whether they're aiming for stardom or simply striving to excel in their current role. But here's another fascinating thought. This power law distribution idea isn't just about work.
You mean like star athletes or musicians?
Sure, those fields have always had their superstars,
Right.
but think even broader.
Okay.
We see this pattern in academia,
I'm interesting.
where a small number of researchers publish the majority of groundbreaking papers.
Huh.
The same goes for entrepreneurship.
Huh.
A handful of startups create most of the economic value. It even shows up in your hobbies.
Wait, my hobbies?
Yeah.
You're telling me there are star knitters or something?
Think about it. In any field, some people just seem to progress faster, produce more, or have a greater impact,
Yeah.
even if they're all putting in the effort.
Right.
This isn't about saying some people are better than others,
Yeah.
but recognizing that talent, effort, and value are often distributed unevenly.
That's really making me rethink everything I thought I knew about success. So if this power law distribution is everywhere,
Yeah.
what does that mean for how we approach things like education or even societal structures?
Right.
Are we setting people up for disappointment if they're not in that star category?
Yeah, it's a big question, right? Like, if we know that most value comes from this small group of stars, how do we structure things fairly? Do we focus all of our resources on those high achievers or try to, like, lift everyone up? Are we accidentally creating a system where some people just feel left behind?
It's a tough question. And the authors don't offer any easy solutions, but they do urge us to think critically about these very issues.
Okay.
They ask, what does this mean for how we approach talent development education, even our societal values?
Because it's so tempting to just say, let's find those future stars early on and pour everything into them, but that feels like it could backfire in so many ways.
Exactly. It risks neglecting those who might blossom later or who contribute in ways that aren't easily measured on that star scale.
Right.
And it could create a hyper-competitive environment where collaboration and shared success really suffer. This whole conversation is making me see things so differently. It's not about tearing down the stars, but it's about understanding that system that they operate within and figuring out how to make that system benefit everyone, not just the top performers.
I think that's a key takeaway, recognizing that even if you're not gunning for star status, your role is vital.
Right.
Think back to that symphony analogy. Without the whole orchestra, the soloist can't shine.
So for our listeners out there, whether they're aiming for the spotlight or playing a crucial supporting role, What's the one thing they should take away from all of this?
I'd say this. Understand the dynamics of stardom, whether you're the star you're working alongside them or you're in a leadership role. Knowing how this system works is crucial in the 21st century.
Yeah.
It affects how we work, how we learn, even how our society functions.
This has been an incredible deep dive. It's really made me question some assumptions and rethink how I view success both personally and on a larger scale.
And remember, understanding these patterns isn't about labeling yourself or others. It's about using this knowledge to navigate the world more effectively and create a system that works better for everyone.
Well said. Thank you so much for joining us on this thought-provoking journey. We hope this deep dive has given you some new insights to ponder as you navigate your own path to success, whatever that may look like for you.